Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well. We are finally doing it. This year we're getting ourselves in shape. The thing is, I started lifting weights a little over 15 years ago, and maybe with the exception of the first 1.5 years, I've been quite consistent with it, meaning training 4 to 6 times a week. And to this day, for whatever reason, I never did a proper cut to fully reveal what I've built over these 1.5 decades of hitting the gym as a natural. So yeah, I guess that's mainly why we're here. Oh, by the way, for those who are new here, my name is Alex and I usually create content that revolves mainly around the topic of fashion over on Instagram. But for the upcoming few months, at least here on YouTube, we're gonna focus a little more on me trying to get in the shape of my life, to see what kind of physique you end up with after spending a countless number of days and hours in the gym. So the thing that I personally get from this little experiment is probably quite obvious, which will be a body that looks temporarily a little ridiculous if everything works out the way I imagine it. But the main driver for me, honestly, isn't even the physical part. It's two things really. It's number one, the mental challenge that comes with a long-lasting cut like this, and just curiosity to see what's possible on the natural side of things. And of course, overall feeling a bit more healthy and agile at the end of it, as my goal is to roughly lose 10 to 12 kilos, starting at the 100 kg mark, as you saw earlier. So those are the things that I get from this. But what about you? Well, I would assume that you fall into one of the following categories. Number one, you're already quite happy with your body, how it looks and how it performs during your workouts and in your day-to-day life. And you just need some motivation and the occasional ass kicking to keep the ball rolling. You'll get that here. Stick around. Or it's number two, you're currently not that happy with your body. You're either not really happy when looking in the mirror. I'm not a native, sorry. Or you would like to get into a proper workout routine and feel a bit healthier overall. Or it's both. So if you find yourself in one of those two positions going into 2026, you might want to follow along for the next few months. To start our journey on a productive note and to build a tiny bit of momentum, I will start with rearranging this desk, which might not have that much to do with what we just talked about. But since I spent the majority and more importantly the start of my day right here, it has to have somewhat of a positive impact to clean it up and give it a new look. So I'll get going here and I see you in the kitchen right after. All right, while I'm cooking up somewhat of a healthy meal here, let's talk about The Diary of the Boring Friend, the title I choose for this YouTube series. Well, there are two reasons here, I guess. Number one being quite obvious. When you're doing something hard, this could be anything like building a business, studying for your exams, working on a big and complex project, or in our case, getting your body into great shape. In most cases, you need to be structured with it. You need a plan and you need to create some form of a routine. And I think that's the key boring thing here, the routine. Because to sustain a demanding routine, most of us need to create a certain environment around ourselves to minimize distractions. For me, it's like that anyways. And that from an outside perspective seems rather dull, I guess. So it makes sense to call that guy or girl the boring one. And I totally get that, especially with the younger generations and all the tools and devices they were given early and the fast-paced lifestyle they get shown every day on various platforms. To them, or should I say to us, doing something or just watching something that does not lead to an immediate release of dopamine seems almost pointless, but more subconsciously, because I feel, deep down we all know what's good for us and what's not. Sorry, there was a lot of words for just one thought, and without realizing it, I've already given you the second reason for choosing this title, which is to showcase that there's nothing wrong with being quote-unquote boring. Obviously, you should still make sure, and I sometimes do a bad job at this as well, that you still put effort into your relationships with family and friends, so you don't end up isolating yourself too much on this path of reaching your goals, whatever they might be, because this lone wolf idea isn't healthy and sustainable long term, trust me. I tried it for a little too long myself. But back to my point, just because some people need to discover 5 new countries every year, visit the biggest festivals, the craziest events, and meet new people every week to get their thrill, doesn't mean the same goes for you. And you shouldn't look at stuff like this as the norm just because it gets shown to you every day. Don't get me wrong here, I'm obviously not saying that any of the stuff I just mentioned is bad or wrong at all. If that's your jam and you're more of an extrovert, go for it. But I think as I'm leaning slightly more towards an introverted personality, with this video and the upcoming ones, I will try to show you and me as well that there is a way of living life to the fullest that does not require you to have a fast-paced lifestyle and look for a thrill in everything all the time. All right, enough deep talk for today. Let's get in some protein, get ripped, and rewatch Game of Thrones. See you in the next one. Ciao.